Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the SoCal Summer Swim. SoCal. Wel- Welcome to the SoCal Summer Swing Out podcast. My name is Andre, and I have a very wonderful guest here today. It is Emily Breneman. Hi, friend.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. We're cracking up right now because we just started a little earlier, but I completely butchered Emily's first name. So apologies on that whole thing.
Oh,
Thanks for
good,
accepting what you
man. I
said.
mean, Emily's a common name. It's all right.
Well,
It's
I,
it's
I,
all good.
well, I appreciate you being here, and I do have to say, I appreciate you being I would say, one of the most committed listeners to the podcast.
Oh, yes. I love listening to this every week. It
And it's really nice to hear because, this does take effort. And for anyone
mhm.
else who's listening and who listens pretty profoundly, this is a big shout out to you. I appreciate you. And today we have quite the fun episode. So if you are a college student or a newer dancer, this is going to be a good one. Okay. So that being said, Emily, why don't you give us a quick intro into who you are and where you dance?
All right. My name is Emily, and right now I am a fourth year undergraduate student at UC Irvine. Um, I started dancing in the fall of 2019.
Oh.
And I got inspired because I remember going to my high school dances, like proms and winter formals, and
Hmm.
my high school would bring out these, in addition to having a DJ, they'd bring out a live band sometimes to some of these dances. And there were people that knew how to partner dance, and it
Hmm.
looked really fun. And I was telling people, I was like, well, what if we could learn how to like partner dance really quick? And I made the guy that I brought like begrudgingly do it with me. We did like a very rudimentary like swing routine just over and over again. No real structure, footwork, just
Hmm.
something for fun. And that really like put the seed in my brain, like this is fun and you enjoy to do this. Fast forward to like the first week of my freshman year. And UCI hosts this thing called the Anteater Involvement Fair,
Hmm.
where all of the different registered organizations put out a table to in the park, and then everyone is free to like walk around and check out all the different clubs on campus, and the clubs have a chance to like drive membership, like, hey, our club is really cool and you should join because of da 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 da. And I remember looking at the list and saw there was a swing dancing club. I was like, wait, that's so cool. I should like go and give them a stop by and see what they're
Hmm.
like. And I stopped by and I went to the first meeting and I never looked back.
That's awesome. Wait, is there anyone that we know now who was in that booth?
Oh gosh. Um, well, the people who were running it at the time, president was named Vivi
Uh-huh.
Diaz de
Hmm.
Leon. I think she's in Arizona now.
Hmm.
And then Mackenzie was also a part of that. I think those were the ones I remember the most. And
Gotcha,
Luke
gotcha.
Nambi
So,
was there too.
ah,
He's been a huge part of that. Yeah,
okay. So this
back
was
in
2019,
way
so
back 2019.
4 years
Um,
ago.
yeah. Well, I mean, part of that, part of my dance journey was over COVID, so take that however you want. Um, I will say, I think all of us have been impacted a lot by the pandemic in terms of how
Hmm.
well it's um impacted our dancing abilities.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. And we'll talk about like the pandemic and that little stretch there because it seems like you joined right before the pandemic hit, which we'll chat about.
basically,
But
yeah.
so essentially, the way you discovered swing dancing was through the high school prom, and you saw that people were social dancing, like partner dancing, and that piqued your interest. And then you
Yeah.
found swing dancing when you went to the UCI, let's say, club fair, right?
Yeah. And I will say, like, the fact that it was a live band in high school was also a huge difference because
Oh, live band.
I've played piano for over 10 years. I've done some stints in an orchestra in like middle school. So I know the power of live music versus just a recording. And if
Hmm.
you're not in dance and you don't like know, it's just different dancing to
Mm-hmm.
live music versus just a recording. It just
Mm-hmm.
feels better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that was really a part of it.
Right. You can sense the spirit of the
Yeah,
music and like really connect with the humans that are playing the music, right?
for sure.
Gotcha. So I'm curious, the dance that those kids that you saw doing at prom, was that like waltz, ballroom, or was it some swing dancing?
It was probably some swing dancing. It was a while ago, so I don't remember
Yeah,
exactly, but um there's some slow dancing, waltz kind of stuff, but there was some fancy swing tricks probably.
gotcha, gotcha. So then when you started dancing at UCI, which by the way, anyone who's listening, we're talking about University of California, Irvine. Um, when you started swing dancing in 2019,
2019.
yeah, how long was the swing club like open and alive before the pandemic hit and you had to take a break?
I don't know how long the club itself has been running exactly. I
Uh-huh.
know it's been going for at least 10 years,
Oh, gotcha.
but
Gotcha.
for me specifically, I danced for a quarter and a half. So basically like 4 months before the pandemic
Mm,
hit, and
gotcha.
then had to, well, more like 6 months, but still, it wasn't very long.
And during that time, were you just taking classes like swing dance class at UCI, or were you also
Yes,
going to Atomic?
I was very nervous to go to Atomic because I still remember looking at the people who had been in the swing dancing club for 3, 4 years, and they looked stunning and incredible.
Mm,
And
mm-hmm,
I just was so nervous, like, oh my God, look at how incredible these dancers look. I
mm-hmm,
could never do this kind of feeling.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And I was nervous to like put myself out there at Atomic and have the same feeling like, look at these stunning dancers. Why would they want to dance with a beginner like me? Kind of
mm,
thing.
mm, mm. Yeah, let's double click on that. So the mentality that you were thinking was, I'm new, I'm just learning, and I'm still gaining experience. Why would
Hmm.
other dancers who've been dancing for a long time and who look so great want to dance with a beginner, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. And is that like the same thought that you have now, or has that shifted at all? Because you've been
It's
dancing for a couple years now at this point, right?
it's shifted a lot, I would say. Um, just because I remember at the beginning, like not really having the confidence to put myself out there
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm,
being like still apprehensive about where I want this to fit in with the rest of my like hobbies and interests. And also like I came to UCI to do engineering. I didn't
yeah,
expect to fall in love with swing dancing, certainly not to this extent.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and now it's like I really want to be someone who can be encouraging to those people to
Mm.
them out to build that confidence because that's one of the best things I've gained from this.
So, yeah, you can you explain more a bit about like the benefits that you gained from swing dancing? Because it seems like that's really important to you. It wasn't just like something that you love, but you really learned a lot. You really learned about yourself and the community. Can you talk to us a bit more about that?
Sure. I mean, besides having a hobby that I love, um, it's gained me confidence
Mm-hmm.
and public speaking knowledge because I'm very
Mm-hmm.
introverted in outside of this. I don't like talking in front of large groups of people, but when I come to swing, I can be like, okay, let's do this. Let's do some fancy work. Um, uh, and just a fun community and group of people that I can turn to and talk to about even
Mm-hmm.
non-swing stuff. I can just laugh and have fun with them, and that shared common interest to be able to bond with other people.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's important, especially in the college scene when we're still in a phase of discovery about a lot of our things.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, yeah.
Man, I can hear how much you care about the dance when you explain it. Like
Mhm.
it seems like it's because dancing is great because it gives you a physical outlet and like an artistic outlet to express music, but at the same time, it seems like you really were able to connect with the people too. Like the community
Mhm.
thing was a big part of it, right?
That was really important to me. It's like I didn't know a lot of people going into school, so I wanted to try and find people I could talk to just to chill and have fun and not worry about engineering all the time.
Yeah,
And when I found this, it's like I can I know I can come and just be me.
yeah, I hear you. I'm just gonna do a quick pause here. So thank you all for your patience. We had to take a quick pause because I don't know if you all could hear, but Emily cares a lot about this, and so we got a little emotional there. So I had to take a quick moment, grab some tissues. But
Yeah,
this is all the more reason why this is so important because you can see the impact that swing dancing has had on Emily in the past couple of years alone, right?
for sure. I mean, I don't know the kind of person I'd be without all of this
Mm-hmm.
and the kinds of people I would meet and just who I'd be in general. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
where that would have been without this community.
Yeah, and like the college scene especially is so important because in a college scene you get to see your friends a lot more often. As an adult, they're all spread out. So you get to build something really beautiful with all those. And you're in the leadership position at UCI Swing Club, right?
Correct. I am, well, as of the recording day, I serve as the president of the swing dance at UCI Club for like 3 more weeks. But I've done it over the past academic years since like September, October 2022.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and that's been a wonderful experience. I mean, like we briefly mentioned earlier, the pandemic really impacted all of us pretty hard,
Hmm. Hmm.
but for our club specifically, it was really challenging to continue to produce quality meetings
Hmm.
over Zoom, basically.
Hmm.
And our Zoom meetings basically consisted of doing footwork by ourselves in our dinky little rooms with a webcam
Hmm.
and limited space. We did footwork for Lindy Hop. We did a lot of shim sham practice. We did some solo jazz work, but we couldn't really like do any kind of partner work or connection work because it was over Zoom. We were limited by that. And
Yeah.
even last year, it was like kind of starting to get out of the pandemic. Like we still
Hmm.
had masks on. We made everyone be vaccinated and wear masks to come to the meeting. And we did like some partner work. And then right in the middle of the year, Omicron hit and UCI was like, hey, we're going to go into online classes again because this is getting really bad. And that
Hmm.
just destroyed the membership that we had. And we had to start
Hmm.
from scratch in the spring, basically, because everyone got disinterested as soon as it got over Zoom again, which understandable, but from a retention standpoint, it was tough. So this
Oh
was
yeah.
really like the first year post pandemic, really. So like I just really wanted to give a good foundation to the club so they can continue to grow and rebuild from this.
150%. And that is one thing that, since we're talking about the pandemic, I'm sure there are a lot of people listening who are either in a college scene right now or who want to start a college scene because maybe their scene died due to the pandemic and they're trying to
Hmm.
regrow their numbers. I know you and I had chatted a little bit about it, but I was curious what UCI did in terms of like engagement, retention, and outreach in order to get the students that you have. Because when I went, you all had a good number.
Yeah. Um, I would say to use the campus resources that you have for
Hmm.
clubs. UCI has an office for registered campus organizations, and they put on a lot of events to help
Mm-hmm.
clubs drive membership or um, like encourage cross club collaborations or
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. Like one of our main membership drivers is the Anteater Involvement Fair. We put a little booth out in Aldrich Park, and we swing dance for like 5-6 hours on the grass outside, and everyone walks by and they see this cool dancing happening. They're like, "Whoa, what is this? This looks cool." Um, and that's what gets them to come forward and talk about it. And even if you get like what 10% of the people to show up, there's hundreds, well, for UCI at least, there's thousands of students in the park that day. There's just so much opportunity there.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, like I probably should have used the resources from that office a bit more. There's so many things you could do to drive membership if you put in the work to get there.
Yeah, 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 100%. So I know that when I served on the swing dance board in college, that was one of the things that we tried to do is that booth. And then we tried to get as involved with student life as possible. If they had like a show or something, we'd say, hey, can we perform a swing dance number? Or
Mm-hmm.
just to get more eyeballs on it, to get more
Yeah.
attention. And so I think that the UCLA students, when I went and taught up there, they're thinking about that kind of stuff and whatnot. But retention wise, how do you all work through retaining the students once they do show up? Because, swing dancing can be a difficult thing to do after your first lesson, and maybe you might get discouraged. So, how did you all
Sure.
go through that?
I really like to encourage like fostering a good community within our
Mm,
meetings every week, just so
mm-hmm,
people feel like welcome and encouraged
mm-hmm,
to keep on coming back and improve themselves. But even if it's just to socialize with people, to give them that space to do that, that's fine too.
mm-hmm,
Um, I remember when you had Nick Kruzichank on the podcast, and he said
mm-hmm,
something like the beginners shouldn't be the ones asking the advanced dancers to dance. It should be the other way
mm,
around. That
mm-hmm.
hit me so hard, and I literally sat there for 10 minutes like, why didn't I think of this like 3 years ago?
Mm, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, he's and Nick is someone who's very community oriented, like the both of us, I feel
Mm-hmm.
like, right? And so that to me is the fact that you mentioned a club should have community and foster a culture where people want to be there, where people feel wanted and welcome. They will remember that because people remember how you make them feel as opposed to what you say or what you do. If you make
Mm-hmm.
them feel welcome, then that's something that really makes them say, I want to go back. That felt great.
Absolutely. I just feel like fostering that good, welcoming environment is what makes a good swing club. Like, I have people who are so into it that they go find stuff on their own, and then they come back and they're like, "Hey, Emily, check this out." And they show me something I've never seen before. And I'm just like, "That's amazing. Let me see.
Yeah.
How do you do this? Hold on."
Yeah, 100%. Where they get that really excited feel and like they find something new and like, yes, let's
Yes,
foster
let's
that. Let's
do
build
that.
more on
Or
that.
sometimes I see them do like crazy things I would never expect us to cover. Like, oh, we've done so much Charleston because two of our members were like, "Hey, this is cool. Why don't we try doing this?" And they just got more and more into it. And now it's just like, okay, can you guys teach us Charleston? Like actually for a couple of lessons. And they're like,
Hmm.
100%, let's do it.
Yeah, and as far as UCI goes, UCI is really awesome because it's right in the back door of Atomic. So the instructors can go take lessons from some of the best dancers in the world
Oh, for
just at
sure.
Atomic.
Honestly, I should have gone to Atomic my first year in hindsight because
Mm,
I didn't go until like fall 2021, fully
hmm.
after a year of being in the pandemic. And I was terrified the first time I went
Yeah.
because the caliber of dancing in that room is so high. And I
Mm.
just remember being like, oh my God, there's so much amazing dancing here.
Yeah,
Like, how
yeah,
am I supposed to ask these dancers to dance with me?
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. Yeah, it can
but
be a lot.
like you said, it's an incredible resource. I mean, we're certainly fortunate to be so close to such a excellent caliber of dance community.
Yeah.
Like the amount that you could learn and pick up just from watching people at Atomic is,
Hmm.
I mean, uncountable, probably.
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot.
Even like little things like certain stylings or footwork variations. It's just, every time I go, it's like, this is my happy place. Like, I could just sit
Oh,
here all night
yeah,
and just
yeah,
watch.
yeah. No, no, no. I feel that same way. Let's take a quick minute, real quick. Quick minute break. So when we're talking about Atomic and that being your happy place, I know that you
Hmm.
mentioned you were really nervous at first, but now when you walk in, like I see you and I'm like, Emily's here. I come and give you a hug and you
Yeah,
feel more
like
at home,
Audrey
yeah?
and all the gangs here.
Yeah, it's more like it's less of that nervous feeling now, right? Because you've been there enough.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I would say to just keep on going and to really build that confidence and also
Mm,
take lessons at Atomic. I mean, I didn't
mm,
do that until this year, and I realized I should have done it like again 2 years ago. Like
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
the teachers there are just incredible dancers,
mm-hmm.
and I've picked up so much about not just like being a better dancer, but also like because I'm in a leadership position at a club, how to teach better and
Mm,
how to explain myself. Because one thing I've really struggled with trying to explain this to people is how to put it into words.
yeah.
It's really difficult sometimes to
Mm-hmm,
like not do everything just by going watch this and do that.
mm-hmm,
Um,
mm-hmm.
yeah.
No, I totally feel you there because Atomic has the people that get flown all over the world for dancing. Blake is in China right now teaching, right? And
No
I think,
way, I didn't know that.
yeah, he's in China right now teaching. And I think that
It's
Jeremy,
probably
Nick,
a bunch of people at ILHC right now.
yeah, everyone's traveling this weekend.
Yeah.
So for any college students listening, there are two events happening right now. One of them is called ILHC, which stands for International Lindy Hop Championships. That's happening in New York and Harlem, like the birthplace of Lindy Hop. And then
Hmm.
the other one is called Camp Jitterbug, which is up in Seattle. Both of those are happening at the same weekend, in
Oh.
case anyone ever thinks about doing that. Speaking of which, I want to talk about like traveling as well as like beginners because swing dancing, in my opinion, is one of the hardest dancers to learn and become proficient at because you have to consistently struggle until you get to a point you're like, okay, I think I have a handle on the swing out, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. And so I know that you had talked about motivating beginners, but two questions for you.
Sure.
What helped motivate you, and what did people do to help motivate you, and what's something that you've done to motivate beginners at your club?
Um, I think I remember the really just wholesome, kind community that the swing club was back then. I mean,
Hmm.
well, I would hope still is, but definitely when I joined, it certainly felt that way. I never felt
Hmm.
like left out or neglected or
Hmm.
like forgotten in a
Hmm.
way when I was dancing there. And even though I was a beginner and still struggling through a lot of things, and it just made me want to just come back, even if it was just to say hi to some people or to just relax a bit from school. Um,
Yeah.
and I remember like one of my last meetings, fall quarter, I was doing a swing out with some swivels on it. And I remember the person I was dancing with said something like, your swivels look really good. They look a lot like some other dancer that I don't remember. And that really like stuck with me. And
Mm,
like that's the kind of energy I wanted to bring when I transitioned into a leadership role. Like I want
yeah,
to be that person that people can like, I want to help inspire them and encourage them to keep on doing better. Like when I dance with the people, I like to meet them wherever they're at and try and one up or level up their skill set.
of course.
Um, so just being someone that they can find encouragement from, uh,
Yeah.
however way that is for people, I think is really valuable to new dancers.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely. Now you talked a little bit about this point that I want to ask. You mentioned like something that you want to do for other dancers, something you want to be for other dancers. So I was curious, what would you want to tell your beginner self now?
Um, I would say like don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Like
Mm,
I don't I don't have a ton of like confidence to ask the advanced dancers to teach me new stuff or to show me what was quote unquote wrong with my dancing.
mm, mm-hmm.
Um so I guess just having the confidence to really be curious all the time,
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah.
strive to improve my dancing, I think is um something I think my beginner self would want to hear.
Mm, mm. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Take that step, that leap of faith, and then you'll get a bunch of returns on that in multiple ways. Right?
Hmm. For sure, absolutely.
Yeah. No, I think that's a very powerful message that I think a lot of people can resonate with. Um, that being said, I also want to talk a little bit more about the other side. So, you are, I would say that you're not a beginner because you already know how to do a swing out. You've been social dancing, you've taken classes, been to Atomic and stuff. And so I was curious, what are some things that you liked that other dancers who may have dancing for a lot longer, like maybe did for you or made you feel more comfortable dancing maybe at like Atomic?
That's a great question. Wow. um what are some things other, I would guess like to just be encouraging,
Mm,
to like keep uh I don't know how to say this, like to keep inspiring me to keep dancing, to keep wanting to learn more,
yeah.
to always want to try and learn something new or to
Mhm.
bring something else to the table that maybe no one thought of yet, or to
Mhm.
um like give constructive criticism, like maybe your footwork isn't exactly right or whatever
Mhm.
kind of
Mhm.
thing, to just
Right.
be an encouraging and positive, optimistic member of the community, I think is really helpful for beginners like that.
Yeah. What I hear is the terms encouragement, investing, and um, providing a space of enthusiasm. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah,
Yeah.
enthusiasm especially, because I think if people see that they're having a ton of fun with this,
Hmm.
that it would like transfer into them and they would have a ton of fun with this. Because I can talk all I want about why I loved swing so much, but until I show you, then people won't understand.
That's very true. Yeah, because sometimes you can tell when someone is dancing and they're just going through the acts. All right, they're just going through the motions.
Hmm.
Whereas when you watch someone else, if you watch someone who's really having fun, someone who's really enthusiastic about dancing with whoever, doesn't matter if it's a beginner or an advanced dancer, you can see the joy
Hmm.
resonate not just on their face, but through their vibe and how they move, right?
Right. And
Yeah.
that positive, optimistic, like fun energy is what I love so much.
Mm,
Is it doesn't feel like going through the motions or um it just is fun. It's
hmm.
jovial. It's so just happy.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a those emotions and those feelings are really powerful to lean on and to feel when you're learning something new. Because with Lindy Hop, you are essentially suffering until you get to a point. Well, you continue to suffer even if you become an advanced dancer, because when you become an advanced dancer, they say, "Oh, focus on your basics again, right? Clean that up."
Right, yeah.
And but you keep suffering, but it's worth suffering for the people, the community, and the environment. Because I feel like the swing dance scene has a lot of people that typically tends to be a lot of engineers, right? But
Yeah, guilty as charged.
but it's also like a really great space for people to cross that physical connection boundary and then be able to say, okay, we all have this other thing in common, and it fosters up other relationships too, other great friendships.
Absolutely. And uh just that community of people is what I love so much about
Mm,
this. And
mm-hmm,
I just love how encouraging everyone is toward college scenes like ours. I mean,
mm-hmm.
I remember one time at Atomic Ballroom when you guys were doing the Tranky Do, and and then the club was all at Atomic, and we were all just watching from the back of the room in awe of what you all were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And um, it was like halfway through the Tranky Do, and I hear Grace come onto the microphone, and she's like, says something like, "Hey, all of you guys at the back of the room that are just watching, why don't you just come out and try it? Because you never know until you do it, until you
Yeah.
get that practice." And we're all just like, "Oh, okay." We like stumble through the rest of the Tranky Do, just in the back of the room.
Uh-huh.
And it's like times like that when I'm just like, wow, I love this so much because
Mm.
now you guys are fostering them to keep doing more cool stuff. And like that, and then watching you guys do the Tranky Do a couple more times was what finally like tipped it over the edge for me. Like, okay, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna learn how to do this because it looks sick.
Yeah. I I remember that because I wasn't it like a couple Tuesdays ago where you did it
I
with
did
like
it
the
for
you
the
did
first
it.
time like a month or two ago, and it was incredible. No,
Yeah.
not a month or two, like a week or two ago. It was
Uh-huh.
incredible.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
oh, yeah, that was cool. It was great.
And you also, I think I caught you, I caught a video of you doing it, and I think I tagged you in that story. Yeah.
Oh, that was the Shim Sham, I think.
Oh, that was the Shim Sham.
But still,
Yeah, yeah.
like everyone in the club came out and they're like, "Yes, we got to do the Shim Sham." Yeah, that happened. What was it, like 2 weeks ago too? I was
Mm-hmm.
talking with Grace. I said, "Do you think it would be possible to put Tank What You Do on so that we could all do the Shim Sham?" Because I got a lot of people from the UCI Swing Club out here. They all love doing the Shim Sham in times like this. And she's like, it's really inspiring to see you guys come out here
Aw.
and do all of this. And it doesn't matter what kind of tempo we play, you guys just go out there and do it and try new
Mm-hmm.
things. And that's really great to see. And
Yeah.
he got on the mic and she's like, "This one's for Emily. We're all going to do the Shim Sham." And the whole club is like, "Yes, we're going to do the Shim Sham."
Oh, you gotta love that. And
I
Grace is
love
amazing
it.
at that too.
Oh, she's incredible. Uh,
She is. She is. We'll talk about it here in a little bit.
yeah.
Let me just go ahead and stop the recording. So now that we just spent a solid 3 4 minutes talking about how dope Grace is, let's talk about like people like Grace and people like Nick. who try to really foster that type of community. From like an external person standpoint, what have you seen have been positive things that have helped build the community that it is? What are things that you've noticed?
I think just um from like someone on the newer perspective, the willingness of people to come and dance with us, to want to improve our skills
Mm-hmm.
is really valuable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's why I love going to Atomic and I love bringing the club out to Atomic,
Yeah.
is to encourage them to dance with new people, to try new things, to experiment a little with
Mm-hmm.
new things and what they've learned, and to learn something else, and to
Mm-hmm.
dance with someone who puts their own spin on it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really like valuable
Mm-hmm.
for swing dancing, to have that experimentation, because it's really hard to teach a beginner like, oh, there are set steps that everyone does, but also there are no rules and you can do whatever you want. And and to just be able to like take the foundations of what they know and to twist them around a little bit
Mm-hmm.
in the community, and to have people willing to do that, I think is really um valuable and important.
Yeah. 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 100%. I think that you touched on something that's really important because every single advanced dancer or dancer who's like really good at atomic has been there where they first started. Nick Williams was there,
Hmm.
and Blake was there. Everyone was there at one point. So everyone can relate and understand the uh, the the time and effort it takes to get better. And I'm not saying like you're obligated to get better in order to swing dance, but
Hmm.
I will say that the more you improve, the more fun you have because the more vocabulary you have in order to speak the same language,
Hmm.
right? And so I do think that's really cool how you talk about how other dancers are open and willing and taking the time and effort to dance with newer people to build up that community, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Now, I that doesn't just go for like the college scene, but that goes for just the swing dance scene in general. Because being a college student who swing dances to then transition into just dancing at a regular scene, which you're about to do, I
Yeah,
imagine. Yeah,
don't remind
that's
me.
oh man, no, we don't. I will, but you're still gonna stay in the UCI in the Irvine area, right?
Oh, for sure.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll keep coming
because
to Atomic.
yeah, we don't want you to go anywhere. We like you. We want to keep you.
Aw.
But be in the normal swing scene as well. Dancing with beginners has been, I think, a really impactful thing in just regrowing the scene from the pandemic. So my
Absolutely.
yeah, my question to you is if if you are if someone wanted to dance with a beginner or wanted to make them feel welcome, what would you want them to say or do when dancing with you or when asking you to dance? And what would you want to have them do in order to make you feel comfortable or wanted or welcome?
Um, I would say just to be open to that,
Mm,
to encourage them to want to dance with you, and to have them initiate the asking. I mean,
mm,
I still get scared to ask advanced dancers to dance
mm,
because I'm
mm,
like, they're just incredible. They won't want to dance with me. It's fine. Um, but like, I remember the first time that Blake asked me to dance, I almost died.
mm.
Like,
Oh,
but no, I was just so appreciative how open he was to that and to
mhm,
try new things. Because Faster Song came on and he's like, "Oh, do you know Balboa?" And I was like, "Not really." He's like, "Do you know Charleston?" I said, kinda, we can try. It's like, okay, that's fine, let's do it. And I guess just to be encouraging to them and to
Mm,
help them level up their skills, to
right.
encourage them to come back, because that's how we grow it, is to get the beginners involved, to really yeah, to get them excited, because then they bring their friends, and that's how this grows.
Yeah. So make sure that you're encouraging, open, enthusiastic, and I guess a word would be just kind.
Yeah,
Just being kind.
just be a good person, you guys. Like,
Yeah, just don't be a dick. Don't be
yeah,
mean. Just be a good person and be
just
kind because that's how it happens, right?
yeah, 100%.
Now that may sound rudimentary, but believe it or not, our swing scene is pretty damn amazing, but it's not pure. We have some bad apples here and there, and we have some people that aren't very kind to beginners or that don't want to dance to beginners, which like that is its own thing. But in my opinion, in order to build up the scene and really if we all care about community, that's one of the prerequisites is just being kind. Like
Yeah,
Blake and Grace, like they're busy, but they put out time
they
to make
put
sure
the
to
time in. Yes.
yeah, and they made sure to encourage you. And Blake also made sure to say, "Hey, I want to dance with my alma mater, the person who's the president now." You know, and that's I think that's really cool that we have scene leaders that do that kind of stuff. Um, so as we're nearing towards the end of the episode, quick check in. You all right? You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, cool. Now, I do want to point out that this episode had a lot of really great content in it because it mattered so much to you. And we paused because you cared so much about what we were talking about that it's difficult not to get emotional about what you found. And I imagine a part of it is also difficult because you're transitioning, which I didn't want to bring up, but
Nah,
it's
it's I've got a lot of life things happening now too, so just
mhm.
all of that together has been like a lot over the past couple weeks and the next few weeks, just because this club has been such a big part of my life for 4 years.
Mhm,
And now
mhm,
I get to pass it on to people whom I trust with everything to run,
mhm.
and to see where they take it and where it goes.
Yeah, yeah.
And they've told me, like, Emily, you better not leave us. I'm like, I'm staying here. I won't like just ditch you guys. Like,
Mhm, mhm.
I'll still come out and support, because I love being supportive to people who are brand new to this, who are
Yeah.
discovering this for the first time. And like, one of the other important things for me is balance. And
Mm,
because we all came to UCI to do different things. I came
mhm,
here to do engineering. I know people studying physics or studying computer science or studying
mhm.
biology or neuroscience or music or psychology or whatever. I don't think any of us, I'm pretty sure if you asked anyone if they knew they would fall in love with swing dancing when they got here, people would probably be like, "You're crazy. I would have never thought that." Also,
Mhm.
what is swing dancing? Um, and so being able to like fit this in with whatever else you're doing, and discovering how much, I don't know, like where it fits into your life, I think is important. Because like, I think it's really funny. There's like this story that's been passed down where Blake at UCI spent more time at Atomic than studying for classes.
Yeah, that story, yeah.
Yeah, honestly, it feels more like a legend now than a story. It's been so long. But like, stuff like that. Where does it
Mhm.
fit into people's young lives?
Yeah,
A good question that people in the club should ask themselves every once in a while.
yeah, yeah. I'll say that much. I mean, look where it got him now. He's teaching in
Yeah,
China.
look at that.
So, I think that's really cool that you mentioned that though, because you are here and you can go back. For reference, anyone who's listening, Laura Evans and I just went and taught at UCI, and we can say
Yes.
firsthand that you all had such a fun group, and it was
Oh,
so
we
fun
loved
to
having you
teach.
guys out there. It was incredible. Like, and honestly, as a personal milestone for me, I had never been able to get a guest teacher to come until you guys came. So,
Really?
yes. And
Well,
like
we're
that was a
happy.
thing that like was always like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this because this was like a thing that the club used to do. They'd bring in guests all the time to help them
Mm-hmm.
like teach new stuff. And so it was really awesome that you guys could come out and do that because we really appreciated and learned a lot. I mean,
Oh yeah, I'm
I'm
really
sure
glad
everyone
because
had a ton of fun.
it was a blast for us to teach. I mean, we were talking about it on the way back how this was a lot of fun and we'd love to come back and whatnot. For everyone listening, I am planning to do a podcast about college scenes and how a college scene can really leverage their position, what they do, and how to really grow that as well as like make it function. So that's going to be coming in the next couple episodes or so, probably before July so that the swing teams can prepare before going into the new year, right? Um, but before we go into our closing, are there any other topics that you wanted to chat about or that I didn't bring up yet, Emily?
I think that covers everything. I mean, just I love this so much. And I'm
Mm-hmm,
sure it's clear to everyone listening how much
mm-hmm,
this has meant to me.
mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and I think I think that it's pretty evident. And if any of the club members at UCI are listening to this, y'all were
Shout out
so
to you
supportive.
guys. I love you all so much.
Shout out to the UCI Swing Club, 150%.
You guys
Which
are
actually,
awesome.
you guys freaking rock. And this is actually a perfect segue. If you want to hear more about the UCI Swing Club or hear more about you, where would they able to find additional information?
Okay. The UCI Swing Club is on Instagram. I think it's Swing at UCI is the handle
Mm-hmm.
name. Uh, I think there you could also find a link to our Discord page. So those two are probably the best ways to keep in touch with what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because we do a lot of cool stuff. So if you're a UCI student and or going to be a UCI student, that is the place to be.
Mm-hmm.
Me specifically, um, I have an Instagram. I think Breneman Emily is the handle name. I can give the link to you and you can post it. Uh, yeah, that's where I am.
Sounds good.
Caution,
Okay.
it's more like personal life stuff. It's not exclusively swing.
Mm-hmm.
So there is some like stupid engineering stuff on there, but that's okay.
That's just another part of your life, right?
Yeah.
Anything roller coastery?
Oh, probably soon.
Uh, quick context there. I was at Knott's Berry Farm, which is like a fair place where they have roller coasters and stuff. And I was working on my computer. I saw Emily walk by, and I was like,
Like,
"Emily?"
yeah, here I am. My second happy place.
We were just there. We were both doing the same thing. We both went and
Just
got
both getting
food.
lunch.
We just went and got lunch and then called it. Yeah,
Look, it's great. And
it is.
and Jonathan Stout's coming to play there. Like, oh, we gotta
Mm-hmm.
go back. I'm still trying to find the like full summer schedule. Like, just to make
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, that'd be so much
Yeah.
fun.
My understanding is that Stout's going to play every Sunday in the during the entire summer from 7 to 10 p.m. at Knott's Berry Farm. So anyone in SoCal or in Irvine listening, shout out to Jonathan Stout. He'll be playing there. So I
Dude,
say
you're
y'all go.
awesome. I love you. I have so much of your music on the UCI playlist. I love it.
There you go, Jonathan, right there. And Jonathan is going to be on the podcast soon, so keep an
Oh,
eye out
no
for that.
way.
Mm-hmm. So here is one of the two other questions. So the other
Okay.
question is, what events are you planning to go to, whether in town, out of town?
Oh gosh. I mentioned I have like a lot of like life stuff happening. And
Mm-hmm.
so the big one that I've been like wavering back and forth on is Camp Hollywood. I
Ooh,
would
yeah.
love to go do that, but I have a lot of like changes happening and I haven't like fully committed to it yet.
Fully understood.
I hope it hasn't sold out yet, so I still have time to like decide on that because it's kind of a big commitment for one weekend.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Other than that, I'm not really too sure. I don't travel a lot for swing
Mm-hmm,
because
mm-hmm.
of school. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
uh one of my like things to do over the summer is to get better at bow. So maybe going to cowbell next winter would be fun. That's a
Mm,
cool idea. Anyways,
yeah, that definitely could be. Yeah.
yeah.
And the last question that I ask on all of my podcasts, which this is the first time we're ever changing it a little bit. What's a
Ooh.
message you want to give to all new swing dancers as well as experienced swing dancers?
Oh, to the new ones, just don't be afraid to put yourself out there, to
Mm,
try new things, to be creative and have fun with it
mm-hmm,
because that's how that's how all of us have fallen in love with this is to
mm-hmm,
by trying new stuff and having fun with this because that's all
mm-hmm,
this is at the end of the day. It's just fun.
mm-hmm,
It's a fun way to let ourselves relax, to be creative, to let off that energy, to
mm-hmm,
just be ourselves. So being confident with that, to have the freedom to express yourself,
mm-hmm.
I think is a great way to really um get yourself into this more.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And then what's something you want to leave a message for the experienced swing dancers?
Oh God. Just don't forget about us little guys out there. Like that's how this scene grows is to encourage people do to do more,
Mm-hmm,
be to be members of this community, to bring their friends and show them why you love this. And I think now that we're still rebuilding the scene from the pandemic, I think that's a really important message to hear.
very, very true. I fully agree with you there. Well, I think that is a great place to end the podcast. Don't go anywhere after I stop the recording. But to everyone else listening, thank you all so much. Emily, thank you so much for taking the time to be here and giving us all your really, really insightful thoughts and whatnot. I do appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me. I loved it.
Of course. Now, if you liked what you heard, please rate us 5 stars on Spotify, as well as subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Instagram. We appreciate you all listening, and we will see you on the next one. Bye.
Thank you so much for lending us your ears on the SoCal Summer Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram, Spotify, and subscribe to us on YouTube. We're looking forward to putting out some great episodes for you, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.